Hello, welcome to Salt City Knits. I'm Emily, and this is a podcast all about my making, especially knitting. And today, lots of crochet. I'm coming to you from Salt Lake City, and today is April 25th. 25th. Wow, that just totally, the month is racing by, isn't it? So, yes, so today I'll be talking about finished objects. Do I have any finished objects? No, I don't. Only works in progress and some pattern updates. And I don't have a book recommendation. It's probably going to be a shorter episode today. I have been working as speedily as I can on getting my shawl, Dixie Creek, ready and out to my test knitters, which I managed to do yesterday. And so that has taken a lot of my time, but I'm excited to share some of the things that I'm working on right now. So let's get started with that. Oh, also, first of all, you can find me at Salt City Knits on Instagram and on Ravelry. And you can find my patterns on Ravelry and at yarnberry.com. So I think that's all of the opening bits. I always forget what I'm going to say and often have many false starts when I'm recording. So it's a fun adventure, isn't it? So this last week has been really good. I think I mentioned last week that my husband had oral surgery. I honestly can't even remember if I did talk about that or not, but he has recovered really, really well. And it's been a good week with him having some time off work. And we had a fun retreat that we do every spring and every fall with some really good friends, where it's kind of like a best friends reunion / discussion group. So we always pick a theme and a topic. It's often been about parenting or about building relationships, usually fairly faith-based. And we just get together and have this great time. And so it's just short, 2 nights. And it's such a nice time for Richard and I to get, we go away from the kids and have lots of good time to talk and connect and, I don't know, like a recharge for the next 6 months. So we did that also this last week, and that was so good. It was such a good time. I really, really just loved it. So needed. So that was really great. And all right, let's talk about projects. Oh, but first off, I wanted to talk about this fancy little hook, my Furls crochet hook. I last episode said that it's not something I've enjoyed working with and that I would love it to find a happy new home. And a lot of you were really interested. It is a very high quality and not an expensive tool. And, so it deserves to be used by somebody who will love it. So anybody who commented last time with an interest for this crochet hook, I just put your names, did a random number generator. And the winner of this, it's like so formal, is Terry Wilson. And I loved how she even said on her little comment, she said that she'd love a chance for the hook and it's beautiful and she would love the chance to introduce it to her beautiful yarns. I love that. It's so fun. Definitely is like an introduction, right? Would you like to meet new friends? So Terry, I am going to ask you to just maybe get in contact with me. My Instagram is linked. And I'll put my email address, make sure my email address is linked. You'll have to type it in and take spaces out and so on. So you can either email me or message me on Instagram and get me your address and I will send that to you. Hopefully your yarns and this hook will make great new friends. Okay. Dixie Creek. I'm going to just tell you a little bit about Dixie Creek. She is getting closer to meeting the world officially. This is what the pattern is going to look like. And this pattern is with my test knitters right now. Thank you to everybody who either from here or on Instagram saw my call for test knitters and has come out. So many of you are just so gracious with your time, and I appreciate that. They're already helping me to make it better. So the Dixie Creek shawl, my plan at this point is to release it probably June 5th, which is a Monday. And so hopefully, yeah, she'll get to see the light of day, and I'm really excited. It'll be available on Ravelry and on my website as well. And that is the news on Dixie Creek. I'm in the middle of designing another shawl that I'm excited about. It's a fun new shape, and yeah, it's just so much fun. I'm finding more and more that creative itch can only be scratched through designing. It's just, yeah, it's so fun. All right, let's talk about works in progress. I have 1 knitting work in progress and 2 crochet, which is so opposite for what I usually am doing. So I am knitting a pair of Francis socks, which is a sock pattern of mine that I really love. It's got a fun texture, and I had it all, let's see, let's untangle. There we go. I'm working on the heel flap right now. So this is the Francis sock. It has this really nice textury pattern all over. I love how it goes with my nails. Doesn't that look great? And I really love this texture stitch. A lot of times, if you have some stitches, you know, or some patterns, like for example, using slip stitches and things like that, or twisting or cabling, can create a more rigid fabric, but this one is still nice and stretchy, and it just looks really nice. And I think it's really fun with speckly yarns. It works really well with kind of busy yarns to have that texture. So this yarn is just so pretty. This is from Mr. and Mrs. Rabbit Yarns. And I'm so sad that they are not dying anymore. They just have the prettiest, most, I don't know, delicate kind of colors. And it's called First Crocus. I wanted to make sure I had that name correct. But isn't that just a springiest? Oh, it's just so fun. That really pretty crocus purple and the flecks of gold to orange, like the little centers of the flowers. So apt for this time of year. So yeah, that's what I'm doing. And I've got, like I said, I'm working on the heel flap. Again, this is one of my favorite go-to patterns when you have a really speckly yarn, because a lot of patterns, and I really love a patterned sock. I really enjoy knitting patterned socks. They, you know, when there's a lot of cables or lace, you might miss the pattern of the stitch because of the busyness of the yarn. But this one, I think they play really nicely together. I've got some fun kind of pooling happening here. It's kind of swirling a little bit. I'm enjoying that. So yeah, they're just really fun. You have to have a sock on the needles, right? And that, oh, I have to show you this bag. This is one of my favorite bags. My sister Deborah made this many years ago. Many years ago, back in the eons of time, she had a project bag store, and she did a project bag of the month club, and this was one of them, and it's so fun. It's got this fleecy fabric for the clouds, actually for both the cloud and the rainbow. But I just thought it was super cute, and it's such a good size. I love that little rainbow pocket in there. It's such a perfect sock project size that I loved it. I needed bright things in my life. I don't know how you are right now, but I just need that. Okay, let's talk about crochet projects. Again, some more rainbowy bags. I've shown this one before. So Sweet Violet. So my daughter is expecting a baby in July, baby boy. My niece is expecting a baby boy in July. And all of my daughter's friends are expecting. They're just at that age, and there are so many babies. So this is not for my daughter or for my niece. This is a gift knit in progress. And I am crocheting a couple of different baby blankets. So this one, obviously not done. This is how far I am along on it. This is such a fun pattern, and I just realized I hadn't pulled this pattern up, so let me hurry and grab it. But I have actually knit this crocheted this several different times. It's kind of a go-to for me if I'm going to crochet for a baby, because it's just so fun. The shape is so fun. What are you doing, Emily? This is called the Sleep Under the Stars blanket, and it was a pattern from Paintbox Yarns. I'm trying to see if the designer name is listed. I don't think that the name is listed. But this is the original pattern. And I've had it for a number of years, so I'm not sure where I got it. But I'm sure you could Google it and find it just fine. I'll look for a link and see if I can find it. It'll be below. This one originally calls for a chunky weight yarn, but I have made this in several different weights. I'm not planning on adding the pom-poms, although I think they are so cute. Aren't they cute? So fun. The only thing that bugs me about this is look at the pattern picture. It looks to me like they had a serious gauge problem. Look at that. Because the center is laying relatively flat. The edges are laying relatively flat, but this midsection is very bunched up, which to me says gauge issue. That doesn't matter. I have not had any gauge issues when crocheting it myself. It works up beautifully, and the pattern works. I haven't made changes as far as, I just use the general stitch. I say I haven't made changes. I've made a million changes, as in I've changed the yarns, I've changed the striping pattern, and I've changed the size of hook I've used. I look for a hook and a yarn that I like together, and then I just use the stitch formula and then make it as big as I want. Super fun. It's a lot like making a crocheted zigzag blanket, except for it's working in the round. And so, you know, you're increasing at your points and decreasing at your valleys. And it's just a lot of fun. So for this blanket, I am using just all acrylic yarns that, again, I got at Hobby Lobby. The original pack, it was the cutest little thing they did for a little bit. And I don't have the label here. They don't have these anymore, unfortunately, but they had these little mini balls of yarn that were all together on, like, in a pack. So this is what I have left. I've used up all the pink and most of the white. So it had this teal, the gold, the light blue, some white, and then it had the two pinks. So you can see, like, this lighter pink and this a little bit darker pink. I mean, they're both very light, but slightly different. And then to that, because that's definitely not enough to make the blanket, to that I'm adding this gray, this silvery gray. In fact, it's called Silver Gray, and it's Yarn Bee 44th Street, again, from Hobby Lobby. This one is 70% acrylic and 30% polyamide. The other yarns were, I think, 80% acrylic and 20% wool. So there is a little bit of wool in here. They both feel, you know, fairly similar to, I mean, obviously these are a little bit nicer than this gray, but yeah, they are. But it's all working well together. It will all be machine washable and dryable for a baby. So I'm going to do another stripe of the gold, another stripe of the teal, and then it will just be gray for the rest of it. I don't have enough blue of the baby blue to make it around another stripe, but that is all right. And that is just super fun. It's bigger. Like if you see, I fold the blanket in half and you can tell that it's more than a full circle, if that makes sense. Which is so, it's actually really great. I'm trying to see if I'm explaining this well. So like if I hold it flat here, anyway, the point is it's big. And it lays out really nice, but it wraps babies up really nice too. So there you go. Isn't that cute? Super fun. This weight of yarn that I am using, let's see what it says. It's 540 yards to 100 grams. However, weight is not an exact translation when you're working with different fibers. I would say that it is pretty close to, let's see, it's calling for a US size 7, which is a G crochet hook. I'm not using that. What size am I using? I'm using a 3.5 millimeter hook, I believe. It would be nice if I could find my hook. Nope, I'm using a 4 millimeter. So maybe that is a 7. So I guess that is the size it calls for. You'd think I would know this. I am not as much of a crocheter as I am a knitter. So the hook it calls for is a 4.5, just meaning that that's a suggested gauge, a 4.5 millimeter. I'm using a 4 millimeter, but I am a loose crocheter. And so I think I'm probably getting a similar gauge to that. And so I would, yeah, I don't know if that's helpful at all. Probably not. But it turned out, it's just turning out so cute. This little baby will be adorable wrapped up. And she's the only girl coming in all this group of babies coming up this year. Everybody's having boys. So that baby is due in June. But the baby this one is getting made for, which is the exact same pattern, is due in May. So I realized I was crocheting these out of order. So I put that one aside and I'm working on this one. Again, just super cute and simple. This reminds me of my early yarn life, and I'm really enjoying it. This is the kind of thing I used to make all the time. And then I became a knitter, and then I became a lot more focused on more complex and wearable items. And it's fun to do some just really kind of simple and crafty things. I'm using these yarns. They are all Hobby Lobby. They are all Baby Bee, Sweet Delight. They're all 100%, nope, I keep saying that, 60% acrylic and 40% polyamide. This is the same, it says it's the same yarn weight. It's not the same yarn weight as that other one I'm working on. I can just tell you. That's one of the things that I really struggle with more of a craft style yarn, is that I just struggle understanding the gauge and the labels because I'm used to understand. I need to have a wraps per inch moment with all my yarns. But again, I just found yarn and I found a hook, and then I played around with it until I liked how it was looking. And I'm really liking how this is turning out. And I'm using the same size hook, but I'm definitely getting a much denser fabric with it. This is a rounder yarn and it's turning out really cute. And so I've got the kind of tan color, the green, and then this really light gray, which is looking almost bluish white on the screen, but it's a gray. It looks much better in person than it's showing up there. This is going so fast because it is a heavier weight, and it's much bigger. So for the same number of rounds, I'm more than double the size of the other one I was working on. But I just really love it. So those are really fun projects. I just started this one last night, and I'll finish it in a few days, which is good. I want to give it this weekend. So I need to finish it in a few days. I haven't worked, because I'm working on those so much, I haven't worked on my granny stripe blanket, but it's so much fun. I did take that with me on the retreat and worked on it just a little bit, but I only got a couple stripes in. I mostly knit or crocheted on the little girl blanket, and I knit on my socks. and I talked a lot. I can just get going as if you didn't know that. Those are all the projects that I'm currently working on. My daughter, who, as I mentioned before, is expecting, is coming over today, and we're going to do nails and plan a baby shower, which will be really fun. I just kind of can't believe that this is the stage of life we're in. All of a sudden, it just goes by so fast. And I was talking to some friends the other day, and I said, I feel like raising your children, we always, I said it's a roller coaster, but hang on for the specific part of the roller coaster. It's an emotional roller coaster too. But in a lot of ways, I feel like there is this element of when you're first going up that first big hill and you're just kind of, you're kind of chugging along slowly up the hill, and it feels like it's taking a long time. And that's kind of how I felt in a lot of ways with the raising of my younger children. I mean, my children when they were younger. And then you get to the top of that first hill where you're just starting to tip over the edge a little bit. That's kind of like how it was when my first one was just hitting like 17, 18 years old. And then you start to go on the downhill swoop, and then it just whoosh, it flies from there. So yeah, it's just kind of crazy how fast it goes, but it's such a good phase of life. I'm trying to think if there was anything else I was going to talk about. I will in the future talk about my stitch dictionaries. I know a lot of you are interested in that. They're nothing different than probably what you're already aware of, but I will share what I've been using as some resources. And somebody else was interested in hearing about our crazy family holiday. What I should do is have my kids tell you about our family holidays. So maybe I'll do that sometime. They would think that was fun. But that is everything that I have for this week. It's just a short and sweet episode. And next week, I will hopefully be able to show you some finished blankets, pictures of finished blankets that will probably already have been given. And maybe start sharing some details of ideas for my new design. We'll have to see how that goes along. But in the meantime, I hope you just are enjoying your knitting and your reading and this springtime for those of us in the spring, your fall for those of you in the fall, and we'll talk to you next time. Bye.